So, Dangerman, why do I want to be Dangerman? I don't know, it sounds dangerous. I don't fear speed, I don't fear heights, I don't fear watery depths, I don't particularly fear falling, I fear hitting. I don't know, scary stuff doesn't bother me. And I know a lot about science. Got a lot of degrees, several diplomas. One of them's in Latin. I have no idea what it says, but I think it has to do with science because I spent a long time studying science. And at the end of it, they gave it to me. What else? It sounds fun, actually. So I'm thinking about what stunt to... Ow! So what stunt to explain? And one of my favorite stunts was a completely spontaneous stunt, like so many of them are. The Hindenburg stunt, 1937. Oh my God, how funny is that? There's a lot of science behind it too, and it's made funnier by the fact that it was a whole bunch of Nazis. So the basic phenomenon at work behind the Hindenburg stunt, simple enough to understand. You got something flammable, and you got an ignition source. Right? Simple enough? But believe it or not, there is an awful lot of science going on right there. I'll show you. Cars run on gasoline, and although we call it a gas, it's not a gas at all, it's a liquid. But the Hindenburg was filled with an actual gas. Turns out an unfortunate choice for an actual gas, hydrogen, which, as you know, is explosive when it combines with oxygen in the air. So what's the science behind this? What's the chemistry? It's simple. So you got H2 plus O2 giving water plus heat. You know what one form of heat is? Flames. Oh, and there's some sub-stunts going on too. Remember those guys that, you know, were jumping out and crawling down the lines and everything? Oh my God. Kinetic energy equals 1/2 mass times the velocity squared. So the mass of a human being, I don't know, but the velocity of a human being, if you're jumping out of the Hindenburg, it's got to be 80, 100 miles an hour when they hit. So this is a big number, especially when you square it, which means they were carrying a lot of kinetic energy when they hit the ground. The problem with that is we've got skeletons that are basically made of calcium networks, and we've got proteins that hold us together. They're not strong enough to, you know, withstand all that kinetic energy. So my videographer, who happens to be my wife, doesn't think this is funny at all, but I think it's hilarious. Here's why. This well-known algebraic equation, tragedy plus time equals humor. And tragedy, well, yeah, in 1937, pretty big tragedy, but 1937, that's, let's see, 40 to make it easier, 60, 61. 61 years. So you've got tragedy, we'll call that T, plus time, 61 years, which is a big number, is going to add up to make this quantity here, we'll call that H, a really big number. So H is funny. Incidentally, there's a consequence of this that a lot of people don't think about. If you solve for tragedy equals humor minus time, which implies that if you could go back in time, things that are funny now would be tragic. Wow. Check this out. We've been seeing him, I don't know, about every other day for the last couple of weeks. He lives over here in the garlic. See you later, buddy. So that was a totally accidental display of why I might be good at Dangerman. Using science, using what I know about snakes to know that that's a good snake to pick up. I mean, first of all, we're in California and the only poisonous snakes are rattlesnakes. There was no rattle, presto, I can pick this guy up. Not dangerous at all, even though it seems like a dangerous stunt.